Succession is not just a great HBO show, it is also what teams try and do and usually fail with great quarterbacks. Pittsburgh dealing with this question right now. Mason Rudolph saying, hey, it's my goal to be the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh, but will he get that opportunity? Joining me now from Locked On Steelers, Chris Carter. And Chris, when it comes to Pittsburgh, they just made this move with Ben Roethlisberger's salary to make things more tenable based on what his contract situation was, and that meant committing to him, at least from a dead cap situation down the line. What is their plan, best we can tell, at quarterback long-term?
Right now, the plan is, Peter, just to keep the options open. There's a few things to remember here. One, Mason Rudolph is technically the only quarterback they got on contract to play in 2022. That's what the extension was about. And then he spoke yesterday at Steelers OTA saying, hey, I want to be the starter, in the next year. And that's my goal, is to be that. But the truth is, there's still a possibility Ben Roethlisberger isn't done after this year. One thing that he's already said in OTAs was that towards the end of last year, he threw 1,000 passes before the season ever began because he was rehabbing that elbow. And he said that definitely, especially when he was throwing 50, 60 passes a game throughout the middle of the season, that his arm did wear down much faster than it ever had before. And so this year, he's sort of taking it step by step as the Steelers focus back on running the ball with Najee Harris. Maybe if he throws the ball less, he feels like he can come back and do more. He feels like he has more in the tank. But for the Steelers, their plan right now with these backup quarterbacks, you got to remember they signed Dwayne Haskins for a very cheap deal. He's going to be battling it out with Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph says he's looking forward to that battle. And Ben Roethlisberger and his teammates have been hyping up Dwayne Haskins. Ben Roethlisberger said, that Haskins could throw the ball through a car wash and it wouldn't get wet. Just talking about his arm and everything. There's excitement there, but the Steelers aren't banking on anyone. They're saying, hey, if you do well this year, we'll see about it next year. But people forget the Steelers are going to have a few comp picks lined up for this next NFL draft, and they right now they are set to have the second most salary cap money in the NFL next year, and that's well over $70 million in salary cap space. So they're going to have a few options to either go get a quarterback in free agency if they really want one. They can trade up in the draft and go and get a quarterback early in the first round if they want one. They got options, but they're in no way banking on Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins at this point.
An all-time great quarterback who is okay with living year to year with his team saying, oh, if you're still good, you can be the starter. Wouldn't know anything about it, Chris. Wouldn't know anything about it.
It certainly seems to be the thing right now, man. But I get it. If you're a franchise quarterback, you write your ticket, right? You could just say like Aaron Rodgers, like, hey man, I don't like how things are going. And honestly, I think that the biggest difference between those is that you can say with the Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger, you gave him Le'Veon Bell. He was the best running back in football for a couple years there. When he was done with the Steelers, he averaged the most scrimmage yards from scrimmage in NFL history per game. I mean, that was ridiculous. You gave him Antonio Brown, the best receiver in football for 6 years. You gave him several good backup receivers in Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, Martavis Bryant, Juju Smith-Schuster, even now with Chase Claypool. He had Heath Miller. You went and signed Eric Ebron. You gave him an offensive line that was top 5. Aaron Rodgers ain't got much of that. And so I think that's where you see a different, a polar opposite of how those quarterbacks are treating their situations, where Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm not feeling that the additions you guys have made. Ben Roethlisberger is like, you've done nothing but give me these additions. Even when the defense wasn't playing well, you were keep reloading the offense.